Welcome to INN CEO Talks. Joining me today is Jim Paterson, the chairman and CEO of Valour Metals, which trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol VO. With a team of industry experts and an impressive track record of exploration, project development, and M&A success, Valour Metals Corp's goal is to add significant value to metals and mining projects around the world. Jim Paterson is the chairman and CEO of Valour Metals, and he was the driving force behind more than $60 million in equity financing for Valour that led to multiple discoveries and a 200% increase in mineral resources at Valour's Anglac uranium project in Canada, as well as the acquisition and subsequent aggressive and successful exploration programs at the Pedra Branca palladium and platinum project in Brazil. Jim, thanks for joining me. You have news that you just released regarding assays from metallurgical drilling at Pedra Branca. Let's start there. Can you bring us up to date?
Sure. Yeah, hi, Stu. Thanks for having me to start with. Appreciate being here and talking
nice
to your
to see
audience.
You again.
We put some news out on Monday, and it was the most impressive thing was really where the mineralization started. So from surface, over 70 meters, 77 actually, at close to 3 grams per ton, 2 PG plus gold, which is just a fancy way of saying palladium, platinum, and some gold. But for those that don't understand what that might mean in that commodity, it's very similar to gold values. So to have a 70-meter interval of almost 3 grams per ton near surface or starting at surface is impressive regardless of the commodity. So this is some metallurgical drilling we've been doing at 2 deposits that have already had substantial drilling. And the reason why we're doing this is to give us some more input for our economic studies and metallurgical studies that we'll be doing this year at those 2 deposits at Pedra Branca in Brazil.
I noticed in your press release, you said this, in essence, de-risks this project. How come?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I said de-risks the project, but it is.
Well, maybe that's the way that I read it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an element of de-risking when you do metallurgical testing. When we start to do on this type of work, which is for the PEA, that definitely de-risks it for investors. It's not exploratory drilling. For example, the Esparro deposit has almost over 90 holes into it already. So this type of drilling to further our understanding of metallurgical work will definitely de-risk it. It's just a part of the checklist that you need to go through as you're de-risking a project and moving it towards, hopefully, eventual production.
Yeah, maybe I overstepped my boundaries just a little bit there, but it looked pretty exciting to me. And for people who don't know a whole lot about Valour, let's talk about the projects in Brazil and in Canada. Let's start, because we've already started on talking about the drill results here in Brazil. Tell us a little bit more about that project, and then let's go to the Canadian project.
Yeah, Pedra Branca is a PGE project, so palladium, platinum, and some gold and rhodium in northeastern Brazil in Ceará State. It's a large land package. We believe it's a district that's quite prospective for palladium, platinum, or PGM minerals. And so we acquired it from an AIM-listed company called Jangada back in 2019. We put together quite a bit of a work program and then commenced it in 2020. We started drilling it. We drilled last year and this year. Our goals are to expand the size of the current 43101 resource, which is over 1 million ounces at just an average of 1.2 plus grams per ton PGE, 2PG. So it's a resource and hosted in 5 different zones across the project, which is quite big. It's almost 30 odd kilometers from one zone in the north down to the south. And there's a lot of smoke in between. And not only are we going to advance the known resources, but there's a whole bunch of target zones that have been drilled by previous operators that hit mineralization. We'll be infilling on those zones, trying to pull them into the resource. And then we're doing a whole bunch of really aggressive exploration to try to make new discoveries and or take zones of interest, move them into a real target category, and then through drilling, hopefully incorporate them into a resource. And in the end, we think it's a district that is worthy of the attention of major PGE producers globally.
So what makes this district worthy of this project? Is it infrastructure? Is it, the talent that's in the area? Is it, the jurisdiction and its relationship to mining?
Well, in terms of a jurisdiction or a mining district that's worthy of the attention of global palladium platinum producers, you need to have something that makes it worth their time to come into a new area, build a staff, make all the necessary steps for a company of their size. So in our case, we've started with a 1 million ounce plus resource in 5 different zones. We think there's substantial ability to increase that. And, we don't know exactly what the goalpost is for a major PG producer in a new country. But we think we've got a project with all of the hallmarks of a district. And that means basically enough mineralization to support a mining venture over multi-generations or multi-cycles, so ups and downs in the mineral sector. So, when you have commodity pricing cycles, you have ups and downs. And a big mining company wants to acquire a project that will allow them to take advantage of the ups and weather the storms of all the downs. So you can't have a small project with a very short mine life. So what we're looking to do is do what we do best, which is exploration, discovery, and as you said before, de-risking, quite sagely so. And, then we can kind of lay it up on a silver platter for those companies that need a big project worthy of their attention.
Okay, let's switch now to go north, northern Canada. Let's talk about your project there.
Yeah, that's called Angalac. That's in Nunavut territory, and we picked that project up actually through a predecessor company called Kaminak Gold Corp. Kaminak was a project generator that had a bunch of uranium projects as well as the Coffee Gold project, which is probably why people know the company Kaminak. Because of the Coffee Gold project, Gold Corp acquired Kaminak for more than $500 million. But Kaminak, prior to its star-studded exit, was actually a project generator that had 3 uranium projects, including the Angalac property. And since that project was spun into a new company called Kivalliq Energy, we spent more than $55 million on that project. And we were very successful in terms of exploration discovery. We've done 3 separate resource estimates because each year we'd go back to the project, drill a new zone, get all excited, drill it off, and add it to the resource inventory. And so we were able to really show growth. We did a lot of metallurgy on that project as well. It was very successful. So as far as comps go, very few companies in the Canadian landscape have mineral resources in the uranium space, and even fewer have metallurgy done on them. So we're actually light years ahead of them. Although over the last couple of years, because of the price of uranium, we've really toned the project. And our feeling that we had plenty of time when the market turned around to take advantage of it. In the meantime, we picked up the project that I described to you earlier called Pedra Branca, which is a PG project. So our company has been really actively drilling off the Palladium project the last couple of years. But we have spent so much money on the uranium project, Angalac, in preceding years that we do feel we have a great foundation in terms of data, resources, knowledge, based upon studies like our metallurgical work, large land package with huge upside for exploration and a great foundation to start with. About 43 million pounds at 0.69% U3O8, which is actually outside of the Saskatchewan, outside of the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, that particular deposit is the highest grade of its type globally.
Yeah, and all indications are that we're somewhere on the cusp of a change in the uranium market.
Oh, I would say. And One of the big things is obviously the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, which has been a big buyer of uranium in the spot market, but it's also been a catalyst for those that were sitting on the fence and they were brought into the market to start buying in the spot market. Hopefully, the excitement around it will cause some of the fuel buyers to start contracting. And when they do, I believe it'll be at substantially higher prices than they're currently trading at. And that will drive the spot market even further. So double whammy to our benefit.
Right. We're running a little long on time, but I don't think that we can leave before we have, I want to ask you about your team. You got a team with an amazing amount of street credibility. Tell our viewers about them.
Yeah, Valour is a member of Discovery Group, and Discovery Group has several public companies. You can look at the companies at discoverygroup.ca. But suffice it to say, we're a group that focuses on mineral exploration and discovery. We've got a great track record in terms of adding value to shareholders of the companies within the group, including Valour. And, when we raise money for an exploration program, typically we've got a tremendous amount of credibility to do that. We've had lots of experience making acquisitions, running exploration programs, making discoveries, advancing targets. And then the big thing for shareholders is we've had experience with exits. So at some point, somebody's got to buy something. It can't be in perpetuity that you just hang on to things. You have to do something with it and monetize it in some manner. And we've had substantial experience monetizing assets in the form of M&A exits or transactions that have really paid off for our shareholders. So look at discoverygroup.ca. And then as far as valourmetals.com, it shows you a little bit of background on our team, which is perfectly suited for not only the uranium project in Northern Canada, but also the palladium project in Brazil.
Well, and also if you take a look at your value right at the moment for investors, this might be a really good time to be looking at you.
I would say, but I'm pretty biased. We insiders have over 20% of the company. And in particular, we've done a lot of buying in the open market and supporting in these financings. So I think that's really the greatest validation at all. And I would say that if a CEO or an executive is telling you to buy his or her stock, but they don't want to do it themselves, it's a big red flag. And it's completely opposite with Valour. We're big supporters, we're big investors, and we will benefit along with shareholders.
Well, thanks for bringing us up to date. I wish we had even more time, but we've already gone a little bit over time right now. Hopefully you'll come back in a couple of months and give us some positive updates.
I would love to. Be an honor.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Stu.